Super Bowl, no problem.
Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Our comment section. It's the weekly feedback Friday gambling on the over under for when we start the 9 o'clock ish Central Time live stream. Yeah. Sorry, Declan and I were busy talking about corny thumbnail poses, and then Judd clapped at us and said, "Let's go. We got to go." So here we are.
There was a bathroom break mixed in right at 9 too, so it
was 9:01 actually.
Yeah, it was after 9 o'clock.
It was after. Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go. I can't time it up like that. You gotta go. You gotta go.
I gotta go.
I know. I gotta go.
Pat, we have 15 minutes left in this radio segment, but I gotta go. Oh, okay. I guess we'll take a commercial break now and be back. It's Feedback Friday. You guys have been sending in some interesting comments throughout the week here that we're going to dig into. You can always hit us up, the feedback tab in the Score North app, the YouTube comment section that we're going to pull from as well. We've got some Purple Daily Life events updates that we'll get to here. But let's start with Quick Trip, Judd. Start the Friday off the right way here.
That's a great way because guess what, folks? You stop in Quick Trip and you look around, and there are so many options. And did you know Quick Trip also wants to help you win money? That's right. With their Mountain Dew Quick Climb, you can score big. Now through August 16th, play free every day in the Quick Rewards app. Daily cash prizes climbing to $250,000 a payday at the top of it. Buy select Pepsi beverages to earn bonus plays. Your summer, your climb, that's your win. Full rules, quicktrip.com/sweepstakes for the Quick Trip Quick Climb.
Dex, where should people go if they want tickets to things?
SeatGeek. SeatGeek would be the place I would go. When you download the SeatGeek app, 10% off any tickets with promo code PURPLE10, whether it's the Twins who are in town playing the Rockies this week. Usher, I think, is in town on Tuesday at U.S. Bank Stadium. Concerts, sporting events, and you can, of course, use this anywhere that the SeatGeek app is valid. So whether you're in Minnesota or beyond in the country, go download the SeatGeek app. 10% off for any tickets with promo code PURPLE10. Awesome app. It also even shows you if you're getting a good deal or not in those selected seats. So go to the SeatGeek app and use promo code PURPLE10.
All right, dudes. Let's start with Jim Graves, who chimes in and says, "You might call this reckless speculation, but I think I would call it a conspiracy theory. I am wondering if Kevin O'Connell might be averse to quarterbacks with a personality." And he lays out some thoughts here. Number one, KOC gets hired and then has vanilla Kirk Cousins. Kirk turns into Kirk O'Chains, and the next thing you know, he's out the door. Shows a little too much personality. Boom, gone. I would argue that the torn Achilles tendon may have played into him being gone. But number two, drafts JJ. He drafts JJ McCarthy, and then they sign soft-spoken and broken Sammy D. JJ gets hurt. Sam does great, but all the sound bites are very, very Kevin O'Connell. Sam pieces out. JJ becomes the man, gets a little more press, starts making some noise. His quotes don't sound as much like Kevin O'Connell anymore. The next thing you know, he's on the outs with the quarterback whisperer. Number four, who's up next? Former number one overall, the guy who runs around like a video game, the guy who would rather play video games, quiet Kyler Duty of Murray.
That's a lot.
Or Kyler of Duty, Murray. Is Kevin
Sounds
O'Connell
bad no matter what.
The coach or the king of the cult of personality?
Oh, wow.
Does he a quiet milquetoast quarterback more than a personality-driven quarterback? What are your thoughts on Jim's conspiracy theory?
Well, first of all, I love it. I mean, this is fantastic. Talk about digging deep. I think there's a smidge of truth to what he likes, for sure, from a personality standpoint, and I think McCarthy definitely didn't probably qualify. But, yeah, I don't think – I love the Kirk stuff, the Kirk O'Chain stuff, but I don't think that had a thing to do with Kirko. And, it was funny. Sam Darnold was on Bussin' with the Boys, the podcast, and was actually probably as glib as I've ever seen him. But for the most part, he's not going to say a lot. So I think there's something to be said for a lot of head coaches that probably prefer that their quarterback just be very PR trained in front of the media and publicly. That's not an O'Connell thing, but I don't know that that's his big push. Now if you made that Kevin O'Connell likes a mature quarterback. I think there's serious questions about now after what we saw, young quarterbacks who come in and Kevin O'Connell. I think that's fair. So I think maturity definitely plays a role. So definitely some truth here, but I don't think that's the overarching that Kevin O'Connell's looking for.
Mac Jones would have fit perfectly until the video came out of him showing too much personality with the new hair and
what's up with the hair?
The vibing was that tight end U? Was he throwing passes?
Yeah, down in Nashville, right?
Yeah.
So is Mac now going to be like he thinks he's cool now because he had a good season?
He had 6 good games, and now he's just vibing at tight end U. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll
Good
see.
for him. But just before we get to a couple other ones here, you brought up the Sam Darnold appearance on Bussin' with the Boys, and people have noted a couple things from that appearance. He has high praise for Kyle Shanahan for the rehab year, the gap year in San Francisco. But then he's also, this is the second or third podcast he's done where he's been asked about the Vikings choosing to not give him the bag, and Seattle did, and he just doesn't take the bait on that question ever. So he's either at face value, telling the truth, where he says, I understand, I get it from a front office perspective. I wasn't really a sure thing. They had a top 10 pick in house. What do you make of his do you think he inside? Do you think he thinks I'm gonna stick it to the league, stick it to the Vikings, but I'm just not gonna say it publicly? Or do you think he genuinely believes, that would have been a hard decision if I was a GM too? I totally get it.
Knowing what I know about his personality, I think it's door number 2. I think he gets it. But I also think, the one thing that the Bussin' with the Boys guys did that I've not heard with Sam before is they brought him as close to telling you what the Vikings offer was. And so what he got a 3-year contract that was basically could have been a 1-year contract at 30 plus from the Seahawks, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you guys see the point where it Taylor Lewan takes a guess? So Sam's like, I'm not going to get into what the specifics were, and of course because they're good podcast hosts, they're like, I mean, could you just give us a little bit? And Taylor Lewan took a guess and said 1 year, $27.5 million, and Darnold completely whoa, that's he wouldn't confirm it, but he's he completely stopped, and he's like, that's I think he said something where did you hear that? He almost was you nailed it. So it's funny because the original report, if you guys recall, was that the Vikings and Seahawks, it was very, very close, right?
Yeah.
But Darnold basically said it might have been close in the terms of what we consider to be a ton of cash, but there's a very big difference, right? When it comes to contracts, if you're being offered 30 plus, or you're being offered let's say 27.5. I thought that was really interesting and did a pretty good job of finding out that the Vikings, quite frankly, if anything with Sam, I think he was I got to get 30 plus.
Yeah. Well, okay, because I just pulled up his exact Seahawks contract. Let's go with it. Let's say Taylor Lewan just nailed it, and that dude is super plugged in still with. And I'm sure he has an agent that probably has information too, whatever. So if the Vikings, because the Seahawks basically offered him a 1-year deal that was dressed up as a 3-year deal. It was a 3-year, $100.5 million contract. $55 million was guaranteed, of which $37.5 million was fully guaranteed at signing. So the other $17 million guaranteed, I believe. Yeah, it was if he's on the roster on the 5th day of the 2026 waiver period, then $17.5 million of his 2026 salary becomes fully guaranteed. So really, it was only $37.5 million guaranteed, and maybe the Vikings. And then you could, if he had a bad first year, they could have bailed on that contract with, I think, very little penalty. And that's where I'm wondering, like, so the Vikings offered, let's say, $25 or $27.5 million on a 1-year deal. Could it have been a 3-year deal in air quotes? Like, it wasn't that big of a difference when you break down the actual guarantees. Interesting where the Vikings drew that line.
But that's what I was going to say. What were the Vikings? So strip away the years. Forget about the years for a second, and let's just go with the guarantees.
Yeah.
He's indicating that the Seahawks were coming in over 30 guaranteed, and the Vikings were coming in under 30.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty big gap if you're a player.
But I don't think it's a pretty big gap if you're a team and it's the quarterback, because we're not talking about $50 million average annual value on a 5-year deal. So we're literally talking about the guarantee on 1 year being 37.5 or let's say 27.5.
Correct.
Those are both way below what the top 15 quarterbacks in the league make on an AAV basis.
And I think in Sam and his representative's defense, they probably said exactly that. They're like, you can't go 30 plus guaranteed. Yeah. And the Vikings might have been like, no, we can't. And so, in my opinion, then the decision becomes very easy for Darnold. Like, it was framed up by the Vikings to reporters, off the record, as like, oh, it's very close, right? Well, if you're Darnold, you're probably going to say that's not close, in my opinion. You got to get over 30. And the Vikings were like, no. So it makes a lot more sense now about what the offers were.
I think my only other question that we will never have an answer to is if the Vikings had done the 3-year 100.5, I think if they match it, he probably stays because he's like, oh, I get to stay with the same system, infrastructure. Justin Jefferson, he had a great year, and he loved his teammates, everything. What would they have been able to fetch in a trade of J.J. McCarthy? Because that would have been the prudent thing to do from an asset management standpoint. And I know what people think of his value now is very different than what it would have been before he actually started a game, because he would have been coming off the injury year with good vibes out of training camp. I'm not saying you get the first-round pick back, but a second-round pick? Probably in play at the time. So
probably, yeah.
Life comes at you fast in the National Football League. On the quarterback front, Steve Morgan chimes in and says, okay, I'm going to read two comments kind of back to back because they're in the same vein, and then we can react to this. Steve Morgan says, is it possible for you guys to remove Doogie's grip from Kyler Murray's backside?
No.
At least at a very minimum, have the courage to stand up to Doogie when he completely dismisses any thought of anyone other than Kyler Murray being a starter on day one. The team tells us it's a competition. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. That's the first comment.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, it is Doogie's strong opinion that Kyler will be the starter. Well, we all, if we had to bet gun to the head, would lean that direction as well.
I think I'm as guilty as Doogs.
Yeah.
The second one here.
Both your hands are on his backside.
And squeezing.
Just both
stop.
Right there.
Okay. I was gonna have fun with that, but now I'm
here. You want to be friends? Here says I just want to grab some ass. You want to be right here.
No, I'm grossed out. No, I'm grossed out. I feel like if I had said exactly what Declan did, Declan would have looked at me sideways.
He probably would have. Yeah. Then someone else chimes in and says, "Why is there zero pushback on Doogie or anyone else saying that hey, Kyler didn't visit any other teams, so he must automatically be the starter?" Which I've been saying as well. Why wouldn't the Vikings lie? Why wouldn't the Vikings lie to get a decent veteran quarterback in the house for less than $2 million? Reporter Phil wants to add some information to this conversation, if he could.
Okay.
Big J journalist Phil here. So take it for whatever you think my reporting is worth. But I have heard that the Vikings and Kyler came to a bit of a compromise back in March at the bargaining table, and he was only in for a day, and then because he fly in maybe the night before or the morning of, and they met for like several hours, and the agent would come in and whatever.
Yeah, they went to the offense. Yeah. Yes.
At one point, it was reported that the Vikings discussed a multi-year deal, and then Kyler and his camp said, well, we'd like to bet on ourselves for 1 year. We'll do the $1.3 million thing, take our money from the Cardinals. And what I had heard was there was a bit of a compromise in that Kyler and his camp said, we're not doing no franchise tag. So you're our first visit. We'd love to be here, but we want unrestricted free agency at the end of this season so that we can have an open market. And the Vikings said, well, that's not ideal for us, but okay. In exchange, if we're going to say no franchise tag or no tags, then you have to compete with J.J. McCarthy. Because we can't risk putting all of our eggs in your basket, giving you every single rep. You rebuild your entire credibility and reputation, and then you hit unrestricted free agency, and we can't control it with a tag. So reporter Phil has heard that was a little bit of a, I don't know if it was like contentious, but it was
right.
it was part of the negotiation was
right.
No franchise tag, and Vikings are like, well, okay, we think you're talented, and we think you could be the starting quarterback, but to protect ourselves, we then would need to further J.J. McCarthy's development without the assurances of you being a Viking beyond 2026, Kyler.
And so they're saying basically, and the Kyler camp probably said, okay, we'll do it because at the end of the day, we think that we'll beat McCarthy out so early in training camp that he'll start to get the reps. Like, yeah, that makes sense. So basically what we have are two different approaches here. The Kyler camp is saying, our guy's like Darnold. And he's going to get probably, in their goal, way more of a bag. And the Vikings are like, okay, we think we can do with you what we did with Sam, but ideally we would franchise you. That does make some sense.
Slide to play. Is this real? This should have been said weeks ago. Yeah, Phil's bearing the lead. Where was this in April? Reporter Phil didn't have the information back in March and April. The information comes in where and how the information comes in. Not that way, though. The information doesn't come in that way. Phil Rossini, it does not come in that way.
So if you were to get... So let's just hypothetically say that you were speeding on 394 driving home or something.
With LaMelo Ball and Jordan Addison.
And an officer pulled you, a St. Louis Park in my neck of the woods, pulled you over and you were about to get a ticket. Who could you FaceTime? What prominent celebrity from the sports world could you FaceTime so that said officer would be like, Mr. Mackey, have a great day. This was a thrill.
The sports dad, Judd Zulgad, is the biggest Minnesota biggest sports celebrity in town right now.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
I thought you were going to ask which NFL coaches, and I would say my current Rolodex of NFL coaches. But would they be impressed by Brad Childress popping up on a FaceTime? His little mustache.
You should let him out of the ticket.
I have he texted me back, like almost immediately, like this was 6 years ago. It was like right when COVID really shut the world down, and I went into the Blue Books and I found Shams' number.
Oh,
and
Shams, like Yahoo Shams?
Yeah, when he was still at Yahoo, he wasn't at ESPN yet. And I texted him, asked him if he wanted to get on the show. He said, "Hey, unfortunately I'm tied up, but stay safe and thank you for reaching out."
Oh, so he didn't give you but he didn't give you I'll do it at some point, but I can't.
No, yeah, it was a flat out decline.
It was a
polite decline. It wasn't just no with a period. That. Yeah, I respected it too. Now,
but ordinarily you get the list.
How many phones does he have now, or is that active? Is that even still an active number?
He wouldn't respond. If you got his cell phone now, he would either not respond or he would probably respond with an angry text back of how'd you get this number.
I think Shams has gotten to the point now where he only, unless it's an agent giving him information.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time he has.
Or a sponsored call. Yeah.
The only way that we could get Shams on now, and we probably couldn't, but the only way that we could try is through the affiliation that our company does still have with ESPN.
That used to be, because there's a lot of people that only know our content through Score North, and it's been just 100% podcast based for like 6 years now. But prior to Purple Daily and the Score North Twin Show and Flagrant Howls and all of our Score North podcasts, we did the Mackey and Judd Show on 1500 ESPN Radio. I think our first show was in 2014, and then you and I had I was with Royce for a while. But it was kind of cool because it was an ESPN branded local radio station, and they would open up the opportunity to get, like, we had Adam Schefter on every week on Royce and Mackey for
Typing in the background,
like 2 seasons. But it was in the early days of Twitter, and you would hear him, like, he was always distracted, and then you would see like 4 tweets come off during the interview from him, like he was paying no attention to us. But it was kind of fun. We would get, like, Golick would come on the show, and that's how Greeny became a friend of the show, and now he comes on our podcast a couple times here and there. But
absolutely.
All right, we got some more stuff to dive into here, but let's have Dex shout out Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Oh boy, quick. 95, high of 90s all week next week in the Twin Cities. So if you have been delaying getting your AC unit serviced, this is the time to do it. Let Standard Heating come out and let the pros and experts handle that type of stuff for you. Plus, if you are maybe a newer listener to Purple Daily, or you're an OG and you have never used Standard Heating, a special offer just for you. When you mention Purple Daily, you'll get $75 off your first service with Standard Heating, and that'll be for all your HVAC needs. So go to Standard Heating, contact them however you'd want, over the phone, email, text, doesn't matter. They want to simplify that process for you. Go contact Standard Heating and tell them that Purple Daily sent you.
Also, shout out to Federated Insurance, protecting businesses since 1904. Born from a gathering of business owners who understood the risks and challenges that business owners face. And all these years later, Federated still leans into face-to-face partnerships, trusted relationships, industry-specific coverage, and risk management resources that are tailored to help meet your unique needs. Federated is focused on helping business owners succeed by building strong relationships of trust. And at Federated, they truly believe in their mission statement, which is, as a mutual insurance company, we believe our value is measured by the success of our clients. At Federated, it's our business to protect yours. So go to federatedinsurance.com to find out more, especially if you are a small to medium-sized business owner. And whether you're in Minnesota or in any of the other 49 states, Federated has representation. So federatedinsurance.com. And then Grandpa's Barbecue also helping us with our summer cooking here, Dex.
That's right, especially with the heat out. All right, it's always going to be, you want to grill outside, you don't want to fire up that oven. So let Grandpa's Barbecue take care of that for you. Dry rub sauces. Go to grandpasbarbecueshop.com to stock up today.
Back to the feedback. Joel Balzer. I don't know if you guys need ideas for episodes this offseason, but I am a football nut. And I was watching the Greenlight podcast where they were talking to Matthew Stafford. He gave some good insight on what teams are going to need to copy the Rams' 13 personnel offense. It is a copycat league, after all. It would be interesting taking what he said and then comparing it to the Vikings personnel and seeing if we have a shot to run 13 personnel this season. I did not hear the Stafford interview, but the first thing you need if you're going to run 13 personnel are 3 trustworthy tight ends, because the 3 and 13 is for 3 tight ends.
Yeah, at least.
And 3 minimum, because rotations and injuries and whatever. I believe at the end of the year, the Rams had 5 or 6 tight ends on their roster. Wow. So right now, the Vikings have 2 bona fide NFL tight ends, TJ Hawkinson, Josh Oliver. And then Ben Urosek, the 6th-round pick from last year, whose name escapes me, is also in the mix.
Gavin Bartholomew.
Bartholomew from Pitt.
Yeah, bad back.
You could make a case that H-back Max Bredesen could technically be part of like 13 personnel if they lined him up at tight end. But they just don't have the horses for it.
No, but and also the fact that they signed Juwan Jennings, who's a good blocking wide receiver, who's going to be used as a third. I believe Declan's dream of the 13 personnel is basically dead.
Yeah, it's on a little bit of life sport. What's wild is the Rams had 4 tight ends last year catch at least 10 passes, and all four of them, caught at least 3 touchdowns or more. I mean, that's wild.
That's crazy.
That's absolutely. You're lucky to get 2 tight ends on your team that would catch at least 3 touchdown passes. Like, you'll have one guy that's going to catch 4 or 5. They had 4 guys catch 3 or more touchdown passes. That's nuts. That's absolutely
nuts. And
nuts.
it's not because they got a bunch of Gronks and Tony Gonzalez's running around, Trey McBride's running around. All due respect to the Rams tight end room, it's scheme, it's deception, it's the threat of it's setting up defenses by running a certain look 4 different times and then
fire the
play action.
You got come on.
I mean,
Sean
we did
McVay.
on O-line committee. I can't remember if it was on the YouTube channel or on the Patreon, but O-line committee, those guys did a breakdown of just 13 personnel Rams plays, showing you how they use the run to set up tight ends leaking out. It's yeah, man. It's
football cocaine.
Fascinating. John Herman says, Sports Dad called it. His nemesis is out. Ryan Grigson. Can you guys please explain why Judd is called the Sports Dad?
Oh yeah.
I'm not a longtime follower yet of Purple Daily. Yet, he emphasized.
Yes.
Okay, so he's dabbling. That's fine.
Yep.
When did we? Probably like 5 years ago we started.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
calling
radio
the Sports
thing.
Dad.
No,
It was not a radio thing.
No, I think it started. I think it started. Yeah, probably around 2021 or so. I mean, just because I'm old and I've seen a lot, and
Well.
I don't know. I don't think I started, or we started it on 1500. I think it started on the
No,
podcast.
it definitely started on Purple Daily, and I think it was born out of two things. One, we were talking about like not being parents, at least like in Declan is now almost a year into fatherhood, but Judd made a quip about I don't have time for my own kids. I've got my sports children.
Yeah.
I am.
Okay,
it like kind of came out organically. Like I am a sports father to everyone.
Wow. Yeah.
And it takes a lot of bandwidth to be the sports father to all these Minnesota.
And it
sports
still
children.
does.
And also like you bring the knowledge and experience and the wisdom to see around corners that maybe your sports children we have not been down some of those Minnesota sports paths before.
And there are some that of my sports children who do not like to hear the truth, but need to hear the truth. Like they're like, why do you have to be so negative about this? And it's like, I'm not. I'm just realistic. I've seen it before.
Voyager Vikings 69 is a little skeptical. Judd is called the Sports Dad because he loves to give himself power.
Power, yeah.
The power.
And being a sports dad has given me a ton of power. Like if I go to a restaurant, I don't have to wait anymore. Like they're like, Sports Dad's here. It's incredible.
The Sports Dad's here. The Sports
Sports
Dad's
here.
Clear
Get him to the front. Get him to the front table.
Minnesota Marshmallow says, I wish Judd was my dad.
Well,
are you open for adoptions? Minnesota
Adults?
Marshmallow is looking to apply.
Actually, you know what? If you are an adult and you are well behaved, I'll talk about it. Because I have found if you don't actually have to raise kids, it's great to then have kids, especially as you are aging and there's fear of your own decline.
You just adopt a 37-year-old whose parents died.
You know what? Late 20s is fine. I've talked to Dawn about this. I've said it would be great to just because the kid doesn't live with you. The kid can come over. The kid can see you for sure. You can watch some games together.
Like a 26-year-old.
Yes, but like I don't want the kid to live with me. But I mean,
they're not a kid at the time. I mean, they're
but I'm saying, but if I adopted them, they're my kid.
Your
then.
kid,
yeah. But yeah, like if you're 26 or something like that, you can come to my house. We can have dinner. You can talk about, I mean.
So you could, because you adopted them, they can come over and have dinner, but me and Phil are still like not openly welcome in your own home.
You guys don't really need me. You guys don't really need me. You know what?
I need you.
You've got Sonny.
Yeah, our dads are both dead.
Yeah, but you guys.
Our moms are dead.
Yeah, but you. Well, yeah, you're both your parents. In fact, we're 6 for 6 on the show on parents being dead. But the thing about it is, you guys have wives. Declan has Sonny. Phil has Maya the dog. I'm talking about kids in their 20s who are single still. Now,
I think we should open an application process. Do you want the Sports Dad to be your real adopted father?
Now, if you
coming to you at the Minnesota State Fair on the Score North booth.
If you needed me to be your adopted father and like you're gonna bring like a wife and a kid, so now I'm a sports grandpa. Now I'm gonna need you to pay me.
The comments are on fire. Judd, you're getting like Sid Hartman. This needs to be a real segment where we do auditions for.
Sid was sports grandpa, okay?
Yeah. Sid was sports great grandpa by the end.
Yeah.
Will Reichert burner account says, I'm 26 with a creepy photo of Will Reichert.
Do you
Might be Jason
need
Harmon.
help, Will?
Is that
Will's
Jason
married.
Harmon's burner?
I don't know. It could be Jason. I know Jason
Probably
loves him some Will Riker.
Yeah, he
Could be
does
Jason's
love Will
burner.
Riker. That's true.
Let's see what else we got here. Brady Schultz. Been a Vikings fan for 10 years. I bought a few jerseys in the past, but I have the worst luck when picking a player for a jersey. The last jersey I bought was Everson Griffin right before he was released. What's your guys' advice on buying a jersey and a player you would buy a jersey of? And this is another
Oh boy.
That was great.
throwback to our old radio
boy.
show. We
Amen.
developed the Mackey and Judd jersey rules a long time ago, 10 or 12 years ago. And part of it is protecting against this exact scenario. If you get a jersey of a current player, like look at the Timberwolves.
Nas
They're just
Reed.
trading, like Nas Reed got traded yesterday. People got Nas Reed,
Yeah.
not just jerseys, tattoos.
Yep. Exactly right.
So the best way to go about it is get a jersey of a player who is funny or ironic.
Yep.
So that you can always have your Alexi Shved Timberwolves jersey or your John David Booty Vikings jersey,
Exactly.
or get the jersey of a player or a legend who's older than you, like a Kirby Puckett Twins jersey.
Right.
You know, a Randy Moss Vikings jersey is timeless at this point. And those are the best ways to stay safe out there in the jersey streets.
Like the only jersey that I think the current, if you are trying to find a Wolves jersey currently of a player, I think Ant is the only one I would feel pretty safe, right? I mean, Jaden.
I wouldn't be shocked if he got traded in the next 3 or 4 years. But he's
Right.
also like cemented himself in Timberwolves lore at this point, where
Right, where it would be a quality one. Alexi Shved, Tony Campbell, Pooh Richardson jersey.
Drew Richardson for sure, dude.
How about a Pooh Richardson?
Yeah, that was my first favorite Timberwolf. My first favorite
First
Minnesota athletes were Pooh Richardson,
Yeah.
Anthony Carter, Kirby
great one.
Puckett, and probably Mike Madonna. I remember Mike Madonna as like a little
Madonna.
kid, and then
Yeah.
then they left. So
That they left
Then they
quickly.
left.
Very
they
quickly.
went to Dallas. DL Urbis says, "Don't buy a
Well-
Darren Sharper jersey, though."
Tell that to my Uncle Bobby, God rest his soul, because he did buy me a Darren Sharper jersey. And I wore it all the time in 10th grade at St. Paul Central High School.
I've actually got a game worn Sharper upstairs because we bought it at there was an auction. There was an event at Joe Sensor's restaurant in
Oh.
Bloomington back
yeah.
in the day,
Dude.
and there was some type of like silent auction, and we bid on it, and we got it. So I have a game worn. Now I will say this: when Sharper played here, in my opinion, those are easily the worst Vikings jerseys of my lifetime.
Yeah, they're very
Yeah.
busy.
They're
The
busy
weird,
and they look like
weird
high
yellow
school.
trim,
Yeah.
And they look like a high school jersey. I always said, you guys look like you're playing high school football.
the big white stripe down
I
the
hated
side.
Yeah.
Brett Favre wore those jerseys, man.
I know.
It was
Yeah.
Well, I covered. I mean, we both did. We covered those teams, and I was always like, okay, this franchise has a history of great jerseys, right? Simple, but just great. And you're wearing this crap.
yeah, I can't disagree. It's definitely the worst jersey in Vikings history, 100%. And they've done a good job. They don't make like drastic, like the Broncos changed their entire look and logo.
Ridiculous.
The Vikings have never done that. Okay, a couple Purple Daily Life event updates before we get into our snake draft of the week. Jeremy Moorhead. Hey, fellas. First-time feedbacker, longtime listener with a Purple Daily Life update to share. I stumbled upon you guys when I was training to run the 2022 Twin Cities Marathon. Funnily enough, this is the morning the Vikings played the Saints in London, so that game was happening during the marathon. Every block, someone had a TV out curbside with the game on, so that the runners could and the spectators could keep up. But anyways, I've been a daily listener ever since fall of 2022 on my runs. In those few years since, my wife and I have gotten married. We're getting ready to introduce our first child to the pain of following this franchise
Congratulations.
in October. Congratulations, Jeremy. I'll try to keep it short, but being about a year behind Declan in terms of both getting married and having a kid, it's been such a blast listening to all of your guys' funny life stories, feedback about significant others and children, and the overall escape from everyday life in general. As someone who gets berated by Bears and Packers propaganda living in Northern Illinois on a daily basis, and for what it's worth, Bears fans are significantly more obnoxious than Packers fans, but that's a story for another day.
Correct.
I think that's pretty universal.
Yeah.
If you've hung out with both in large enough sample sizes.
They're jerks.
I think I can speak for all of us non-local listeners when I say that we sincerely appreciate the avenue you guys are able to provide us to be able to follow our favorite teams on a daily basis. Keep up the good work, and I'll be sure to introduce our daughter to the Purple Daily Boys on walks over the next few years. Appreciate you guys. P.S. The wife wouldn't let me invite Sports Dad to the baby shower. What a shame.
Oh, thank you. I don't know her name, but whatever her name is, tell her thank you very much.
Wow.
So
I'm not interested at all, huh?
A baby shower? So my niece and her husband, I think, are holding a baby shower that Dawn is going to in August. In fact, they're due almost exactly at the same time that Sonny was born last year, in September at some point. And I jokingly said, "Oh, can I come?" And Dawn's like, "Yeah, of course you can," or something. I'm like, "What?" So this is another thing.
Are you in now?
Did you
Larry David yourself in?
It's August, dudes. It's August. Once August 1st hits, guess who's out of pocket? The Sports Dad. Okay, I got training camp.
Time for some camp notes now.
Exactly right. Do you guys really think? I was very interested in going trying to go to the Field of Dreams game, Twins and Phillies, but it's August. So again, but anyway, but here's the one thing that they've done that I appreciate. They do not want to know the sex of the child until it's born.
I do like that.
So they're not doing the reveal thing, which has become...
Well, you don't have to do a reveal. Like, you don't have to do a big grand reveal to know the sex. But gender reveals have jumped the shark.
Well, I've never liked the idea. I never saw the need for that. Like why? Okay.
My wife wanted to know. I didn't want to know. I was cool being surprised. My wife wanted to know, but we didn't do any like ridiculous
and that's cool
blue pink thing. We just said, "Oh, we're having a boy." Cool.
And that's cool. But yeah, so they are going to wait until the child is born, which I feel like is rare now. I might be totally wrong. I don't know, but it feels like it's becoming more and more rare.
Yeah, I feel like you just don't want to wind up on TikTok, with like a swing and a miss 4 times.
I don't understand. I don't. You know what? Everything doesn't need to be turned into something.
Everything's content. What are you talking about?
Everything needs a take. That's always my favorite one.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Give a take on it. But like I just don't like and plus here's my problem. The gender reveal itself, I think is just it's not cool. Like
I agree.
Like it's not good content.
Let's make it cool to be surprised at birth, Let's bring back
Here's what I would like for
being
content.
Surprised at birth.
If you want me to break down what I think would be great content, I think it would be a show or just a content platform where the gender reveal is the doctor telling the parents in the same room, and then getting their reaction. Like if Dad really wants a boy, right? Congratulations, Smiths, you're about to have a daughter, and Dad's just like, and Dad's just like, that's what I want. That's a reveal, right?
And the zoom in.
The immediate reaction and like the friction that would cause between the parents at that point too, where the wife's just elated they're going to have a child, and the dad's like, I wanted a left-handed pitching son, and I'm, and so like that's what I want.
Content from the delivery room, period, is the content that we all. Do you guys follow Mike Rallis, the former? He was a Gopher football player, and then he was in the
DC.
Well, that's Nick Rallis.
Nick Rallis, okay, sorry.
Yeah, Mike Rallis was in the WWE for like 10 years.
That's right.
What was his? I can't remember his WWE name, but so him and his wife, who's also a former WWE superstar, and they both have like 1 million followers on Instagram now, and they just do funny couple videos, and she's been pregnant. I think they just had their second baby, and they put a video out 2 days ago, and it's her like laying on the delivery table, and it's him like putting a hand on her with like a loving face, and the caption is, "Now she knows what I feel like when I have a cold."
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's a very guy thing, and it's 100% true.
It's terrible. Have you ever had a bad cold?
We are such wusses. Men are such wusses. Okay,
the next one is a totally different tone here from our guy Pulford Skoll. Jeff Pulford,
Yeah.
OG listener
Nice.
and viewer of the show down in Tennessee. And he said, it's been a while since I've chatted with y'all. Just wanted to say thank you guys for the content and at times the funny stories and light humor. Last week was one of the hardest weeks of my life, having to make the tough decision to put down my first horse I ever bought as an adult on my own farm. So, by the way, the Declan, like, hating horses bit all stems, not a bit, by the way. Declan actually is scared of horses. But
Scared, yeah.
that whole conversation started probably 6 years ago on this podcast because of Pulford Skull.
Okay.
He would jump into Ventline from his horse stable, and I'm pretty sure he brought horses on camera a couple times, and it sparked. There was at one point he made a bet with the show that if we could get to 50,000 YouTube subs by the end of that year, then Declan would have to. He would either come up here or Declan would go down, and Pulford Skull would help Declan ride a horse for the first time. Mm-hmm. Well, we didn't reach 50,000 by the end of that year, so Declan got off on that bet. But so that's kind of the context. We've loved Jeff for years and years as a fan of the show here, but he said it's the day that we dread the most and the pain you can't describe when you have to put a loved animal down. Yeah. I couldn't, or maybe should say didn't have the words to text or call anyone back all week last week. I was listening to your podcast last week, and one of the days you read the story of a gentleman whose puppy had passed away, and I just completely lost it all over again. Even as I write this, it's hard to fight back the emotion. How much you guys understand animals on the show and care about them, as well as realizing that, hey, football is just a part of life. I love that you guys shared that man's story about his dog and everyone who said a final goodbye and a final who's a good boy. Many listeners can relate to that, and you never know what someone's going through. That was me last week, saying goodbye to my best friend and the bestest girl in my life who taught me so much and owed me nothing. Yeah, we won my first ever belt buckle together and titles in barrel racing and cowboy mounted shooting. She's the mare, and she sent in a picture here via email too. The horse's name was Kyoto. I called her Mama. She was the mother figure to every horse I've ever owned, trained, and competed with since. So I don't know how many Purple Daily podcasts my horses have listened to while riding and training, but it's got to be hundreds. Maybe you guys could say for one final time, who's a good girl for Kyoto?
Of course we can.
Yeah. Who's a good girl?
Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl?
Yeah, it's so tough. Yeah, if you're an animal lover, it's so tough. So tough. So yeah, Pulford Skull, Jeff, we're thinking about you, dude. Thanks for opening up and sending that note. And someday we will connect you with Declan, and we will make this.
Yep.
Maybe we'll do it at Running Aces, like they brought Thor and I back. We'll see. You guys want to get into a snake draft here?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Presented in part by North American Banking Company, 6 locations in the Twin Cities, where they make it very easy to switch from the bank that you're not thrilled with right now. If you're looking for a better checking savings experience, if you're looking for some help with something bigger, like you're buying a home, you're setting up financing for a car or a new business, North American Banking Company can help you with anything and give you peace of mind about where you bank. They've been very invested in the Twin Cities, founded in the Twin Cities in 1998, and their dedication to the Twin Cities very much shows when you walk in the door. So if you want to find out more info, it's nabankco.com/Mackey, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All right. The cheeses last week, Dex.
It was the cheese.
Yeah,
Yes, it was
I
the
saw a lot of
cheese.
pushback on Twitter at that one. There were some people that were not pleased with us, but
Just the general topic, or the
yeah, I think the general topic. I don't think they like the topic. I mean,
no, just
who
like
knows?
it wasn't
I mean,
just
Twitter.
like mad lactose intolerant people.
I'm going to tell you right now, Twitter has been a glorious cesspool of more hate than usual, which is saying something. I feel like in the past week, so it's basically why I'm there.
I feel like I can't tell if it's like 50% just angry bots that are jumping into totally benign conversations and getting mad, or the level of vitriol on that platform compared to other social media platforms is disproportionate.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
Yes, and it's about everything. Like if it was all just politics, I'd sort of get that, but it's about everything. But I enjoy it because I go to Blue Sky and it's so nice and civil. Like, I need something in between. Because, like, I like vitriol. I like people. Like, there are people that want to spend their entire life being angry. And you know what? Good for you.
I don't spend a lot of time on Blue Sky. I do have a Blue Sky account, but I feel like the way that you describe it, the way that people respectfully disagree, maybe is an appealing place. I think J.J. McCarthy can still be a good NFL quarterback. You know, Phil, you bring up a fascinating point, but I respectfully disagree, and here are 5 reasons why.
Blue Sky.
Well, thank you for your pushback. I will consider your points.
Yep.
I'm glad we had this conversation.
Yeah, and I'm just
Welcome to Blue Sky.
I'm just out. Yeah, welcome to Blue Sky, where everything is a blue sky. And then there's Twitter. It's lightning and thunder and anger
It's a beautiful
and
day
tornadoes.
out today. Bleep you, you suck.
And
I like football. You're an idiot.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. The Nas Reed thing yesterday was just on fire. The Nas Reed trade.
I tweeted out, I thought, obviously jokingly, or maybe not, let me be the first person to congratulate Nas Reed on his future championship with the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens with Minnesota athletes. I would say at least 15% of the replies were something along the lines of, you don't deserve to live, go kill yourself.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's
Sounds
incredible. It's incredible. I did a Substack basically on the fact that, you know, Tim Conley will trade anyone, right? Like because he will. Unless you're Ant and maybe Jaden. And so I published the link there, and I just had like a sentence trying to describe it, and the pushback was incredible. And so I finally retweeted the thing and said, look, you're not reading this column. So here's what I want. I want you to read the column, which means that you're going to have to subscribe, which I appreciate. And once you do, then I'd like your feedback. You know, F you even more.
People wondering, when are you going to apologize for being wrong about Nas Reed, Judd? When's that column going to?
What did I don't even remember what I said about Nas Reed.
I don't either, but you're wrong. And you will likely continue to be
My
wrong.
question is, what am I going to do about my tattoo?
Well, you have 3 of them, right? Didn't you? You had the big.
I have
There's
one
the
on
big
my
lower,
buttocks.
the lower back. Nas.
On my buttocks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I think the one behind your ear can probably stay because it's a little more hidden.
Yep.
Painful spot for a tattoo.
And then I've got the one across my chest that just says Nas.
Yeah, maybe you can turn that into a Brock Lesnar like sword. Just kind of, you know.
I am so
Figure that
inked
out.
up. You can't see it, but I am so inked up right now.
So inked up. All right. Who won the cheese snake draft, Dex?
AJ, to the surprise of no one. AJ
Shocker.
picked up 55%
Yeah, it
of the
didn't-
votes. Dominated. Phil was second at 26. Judd third at 19%.
Yeah, not a good week.
For AJ, that was his 13th win in 21 tries
Unbelievable.
on Snake
Are
Draft.
people voting for him now just to keep the dominance alive, or did they actually like his palette?
You
of
could make a
cheeses?
case that is happening. I will say, so in just the year of 2026, AJ has already won 5 snake drafts, like when he has hopped on in just the calendar year here.
Ted Williams. He's Ted Williams.
I have won, let's see here, I'm going to do some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've won 5 snake drafts this year alone. Let's see, Judd, you have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 snake drafts in 2026. So you've been on a
What a
heater.
run, dude.
Peter.
Phil, you've won 3, and you haven't won one since March 27th, which was mediocre Minnesota athletes we can't quit, which I guess is kind of in a similar vein to maybe what we're doing here.
Phil's got a good chance.
Because
I don't. I mean, I feel like this is the most lost I have felt as a snake drafter. I feel like Royce Lewis a month and a half ago at the plate. I don't know where my feet are supposed to be. I don't know what pitch is coming out of the pitcher's hand. It's bad.
Mm-hmm. Scott Boras can help you.
That's right.
Go see your agent. So today's topic is obscure Vikings players, and this is a little bit of a gray area. This is very gray, and we're going to have to kind of talk it out a little bit. I think there has to be some very specific parameters because they have to be obscure, and they have to be even like, I would even argue, not long tenured Vikings. So, for example, even though these guys might have had just a 1-year stop here, I don't think Brett Favre and Randall Cunningham
No.
would count
Agreed.
because they were, well, number one,
Yeah.
they were very prominent NFL players. And even though they had a short time here, they literally were like the best players in their league essentially that year.
Yes.
So these are obscure players. I'll say this, and by the way, I do have the top pick. The order this week is Dex, Phil, Judd. I even think you can take players that never technically played a snap with the Vikings, because I think that would count for obscure players.
So if they're like an off-season
Yeah.
roster,
Yep.
Yeah.
a Mr. Mankato hopeful or something.
If it's an obscure player that played more than 2 seasons as a Viking, he is ineligible, correct?
I think we do have to
Because-
set
Okay.
like a tenure. We could call it 2 or 3 years, but yes, I don't like if you'd spent, even if you weren't like an active player all the time, you'd spent a long time with the Vikings. Again, I don't think that's obscure. So
Here's a good one. Just submitted. Demetrius Underwood, okay?
First round pick.
First round pick. Okay, so he's out. Because I was, and he's also not really obscure.
yeah,
Like, because of his history.
yeah.
He's not really obscure. He became, so yeah, but that's true. First round.
There's a
Okay.
major smell test aspect to this that
Yeah.
we're
I
just
think
gonna have to feel it out.
I think I'm comfortable. I think at least from my big board that I did yesterday. Now, I will say this. My childhood teams are basically out in large part because free agency didn't exist.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
so you were tied to a team. So, like, you almost need free agency, which I think Plan B started in 1992. You almost need that to start because that's when players then just began to naturally move through in a quicker manner.
Yeah, it is hard, and the rosters were smaller, and people didn't cover training camp really, so you didn't get to hear about some of the obscure players. All right,
They covered it. They just didn't care like we care.
some people predicting this is going to be a train wreck. We will
don't
see
think so.
together.
I don't think
Dex
so.
gets the number 1 overall pick. He's on the clock.
All right, so yeah, I'll take a player who did not technically play a regular season or playoff
coming.
snap with the Vikings.
I think I know who it is.
And I will take the reigning, defending, superhuman. Give me Brock Lesnar.
I don't
mean-
think he's obscure.
He is
Okay.
obscure. He never played. He never played a game for the
Okay.
Vikings, and he was an obscure. Yes, this is obscure.
It's
Brock
already
Lesnar?
a train wreck on the first
yeah,
overall pick.
All right. I just, yeah, okay.
The word
This is not-
obscure is hard to quantify.
Right.
It's hard to quantify.
right.
It's. I mean, Brock Lesnar was a random,
Okay. I'm going to,
obscure tenured Viking, but he is not obscure.
He's very
So
prominent.
what do you do?
but
with
you know
that?
what? You know what? I rescind my objection because I think that I think people are going to see through this.
Oh,
So I rescind my objection. I think this is going to hurt you.
Okay.
So I am on the record as accepting this.
Okay.
I would like my gut says to push back at the obscure nature
take
of
someone
Brock
else.
Lesnar.
No.
But I'm with Judd. I want to see how this play. I'm curious to see how this plays out as the number 1 overall
Yep.
pick.
Okay.
I will also allow it.
Is this
I will
going to
also
be
allow it.
just a question too for the people that vote? Is this going to be in the voting itself? Is this going to be pretty well explained of what this is about? Like I feel like there has to be. I feel like the people that
No,
vote.
that won't-
I
that
think it
won't
should be as little of an explanation as possible.
Okay.
And see how the voting falls.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
There's also the characters and
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna ask.
and the
that.
characters.
Yeah, I don't. Since we switched it, I don't really go and look at the poll anymore.
I'm going to take my favorite obscure Viking of all time.
Yeah.
And it's a recent development
Okay.
because I consider this person a close personal friend and a friend of the show. Give me Jeremiah Cyrils with my first pick.
Oh, nice of you. That's very nice
A
of you.
backup,
That
undrafted,
Very obscure.
swing offensive lineman who
Very
stepped
obscure.
in. He just point me in the right direction, coach. I'll play any position. I can play all 5. Let me know. Give me Jeremiah Cyrils from
That's
the
nice.
O-line committee.
He'll appreciate that.
I hope so.
I think he'll be honored by your taking him.
Yeah, I think you will too.
So I've got the back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Okay, my first pick is going to be a guy who played exactly 2 years here. He caught only 1 touchdown pass, but he is Greg Lewis.
Okay, wow. Is he obscure? Caught like the second most famous pass and third most famous.
But that was it.
Third most famous pass in Vikings
but one
history.
touchdown. But one touchdown catch. He's very obscure.
One touchdown catch being, one of the 5 most exciting plays in the history of Vikings football.
I know, but
if we're going to allow Brock Lesnar,
but he hits the qualification.
Then
He was
I guess
on my big board.
Yeah. I think he hits the qualification exactly.
Yeah, he was on my big board.
Okay. But the word obscure is not carrying as much water as I was expecting here. Judd, back on the clock.
Oh boy, do I make this pick? So I've got a big board, and I don't think you guys are going to make this pick, so I don't think I need to make it on the back-to-back. All right. So now I'm trying to decide, do I want a quarterback here, or do I just want another obscure Viking? You know what? I'm going to go with a quarterback. I'm going to go with a guy who fits the description perfectly because, as Declan said, this can be a guy who has never played a game as a Viking. And I'm going to go with the guy that would have taken over for Teddy Bridgewater if he hadn't kicked in a window to try to get back into his place. Give me Taylor Heineke.
Is he still in the league?
I think he might be a backup
feel like
still somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like he is.
Okay, who he play for? Taylor Heineke. Get your guesses.
I thought he was with the Chargers last year. He was Atlanta, right? A couple years ago.
Atlanta was the last I remember.
He retired.
Did he?
Okay.
Well, yeah.
He according to the internet, he retired. His last team was the Chargers in 2024.
That's what it was. Chargers.
Falcons.
24. So 2 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, he's been out for.
So yep. So Greg Lewis and Taylor Heineke.
Okay. With my second pick, I'm going to take a man who was an undrafted free agent on my first year covering the Vikings beat. One of the best defensive linemen in the ACC.
Oh yeah, it's good.
It was a short blip on the radar for the Vikings in the spring portion. But give me Joe Anawa'i.
Yep.
I'll take Joe Anawa'i.
Who was with the Vikings when he was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they callously waived him, cut
So
him.
are you taking this out of spite for me taking Brock Lesnar? Because couldn't I make the case it's the exact same thing?
Well, but you took Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Yeah, but
Right.
I backed off on that. So.
Yeah.
You're good.
But he's very well known.
Yes. Just like Brock is.
Just like Brock Lesnar.
It's a apples to apples comparison, but I'm comfortable with both of these now.
Joe Anawa'i
Yep.
with my second
Yep.
round pick.
Yep.
That'd be Roman Reigns for
But he
wrestling fans out there.
he had played college football, as you said, right, Phil?
Georgia Tech, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
So like
he was a
Brock
defensive
didn't
tackle.
play. So Brock didn't play, and he did. So okay.
I think
All
we're
right.
back to Declan. Back-to-back picks here.
Back-to-back picks here. All right, I will take
Great.
take QB here.
He's on my big
Dude,
board.
he's on my
He's
big
on-
board.
He blew
He's on
both-
my big board.
No,
both
I'm
knees
laughing.
on the same play.
I shouldn't be laughing. Yeah. Night scrimmage.
Yeah.
Both
That
knees
was
blew out.
wild. He blew both patellar
guy.
tendons on the
Yeah.
same play.
Yeah. Terrible.
It's awful.
Anyways,
I'll take a quarterback. I'll take my guy. I will take John David Booty.
there it
The
is.
only-
The JDB.
I thought this would be the first one. that you-
The casualty of Brett Favre. What could have been? What could have been? John David Booty's tenure as a Viking.
He lost his number too, right?
Yeah, lost his number, lost his job.
Well, he eventually lost his job, but I think they gave him. I think that because he was in fact 2009, number 4 until number 4 came along. Okay.
I feel like John David Booty could spawn another snake draft topic, Vikings related, where it's Vikings players that you're sure they just never got their fair crack, or Minnesota athletes that they just never got their full chance. But if they would have gotten their chance, look out. Like, we never got to see him. We never got to see the JDB. And then Declan with his last pick here.
All right, this is a little more recent, and I guess had definitely though some aura about him. So this might be up for debate, and if we want to axe it, completely understand. But I would love to take Josh Dobbs.
I think, yeah,
Dobbs is fine. The Pasternak.
Yeah, like the Pasternak thing.
There was a thing.
Poked its head above the obscure into the mainstream. But at the end of the day, he was
very
here for like a
obscure.
month. And,
Yeah, it was a blip on a very tiny blip on the radar. I think that's fine.
And you're gonna hook some younger Vikings fans there that may not be familiar with some of the other, like Greg Lewis. That was 17 years ago now.
I know.
Just wait till my last pick. Just wait till my last pick, because I'm getting in the freaking time machine.
1968.
No, it's not before me.
All right, I feel like I have to. I feel like I have to do this. I'm gonna give me the Rhino. Give me Alex Boone with my third pick.
Okay.
Give me the Rhino. 1 year of glory in a Minnesota Vikings uniform.
Yeah. 2 years total here?
Well, 2 camps total here.
2 camp. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
He wound up.
Yeah, that's right.
He wound up going to the Cardinals there for.
That's right.
For the end.
Was there a
Him
table
and
flip?
Mike Zimmer didn't exactly, get dinner together.
He wasn't the only one.
What'd you say, Dex?
Was there a table flipped? That was always the rumor.
I think he's told. Yeah, I wasn't in the rooms, but I think he has said that there may have been a table flipped in a meeting at one point or another. Yeah. He's
I'm sure
actually
that
been pretty,
happens.
he's been pretty open about. I think for a while when he was still kind of in the league, he didn't want to make a big deal out of it. But they didn't really like each other.
I feel like there's probably a lot of things that have been thrown in NFL buildings that we don't know about, but it's probably pretty common. Like, not at people necessarily.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there were a lot of tables that have been flipped. Big tables.
It's a
too,
violent
for
work
sure.
environment.
Yeah. HR is no place.
No.
At least with the football department people.
Yeah, maybe. The defensive tackle probably not being called into an HR
meeting. Yeah. I agree.
Okay, Judd, you get the final pick of the controversial, obscure Viking snake draft here.
I'm going to go back to the wide receiver and as promised, I'm going in the way back machine. I'm going with a Viking who played 2 years here, the years 1993 and 94. And his only catch, like Greg Lewis, a very famous catch, was a 45-yard reception against the Packers in 93 at the Metrodome to set up a Fuad Reves field goal for a 15-13 win. Give me 5'8" Eric Gulliford.
Eric
Gulliford.
Eric Gulliford. That is obscure.
That is, and
definition.
he caught the ball. What he caught the ball at I thought I wrote it down here. He caught the ball at the 10, went out of bounds at the 5. 6 seconds left. Fuad comes in, kicks the field goal for the win.
1 reception as a Minnesota Viking.
Yep, that was it.
And it was that.
He was accused by some of coming off the bench to catch the ball after the play had started because he was so open.
Chestnut checkers. Couldn't possibly be the Packers' terrible defense. There got to be some scapegoat excuse for it.
Yes. In fact, I believe the guy that failed to cover him, if I'm correct, was Terrell Buckley, who was a complete bust for the Packers.
Not gonna play for the
Bucking it
Packers
here.
anymore.
Yep.
So, all right, here's the controversial, obscure Minnesota Vikings snake draft teams. Voting available in the posts tab of the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Declan goes with Brock Lesnar, John David Booty, and the Pastronaut Josh Dobbs. I wind up with Jeremiah Searles, Joe Anawai, and Alex Boone. And Judd goes with Greg Lewis, Taylor Heineke, and Eric Gulliford. So you can vote for your favorite roster. Keep the Judd 2026 hot streak alive. You could help me win my first in 3 months.
I enjoyed this assignment.
There were debates. There was controversy. There was some tension. But we made it through the obscure Vikings snake draft of the week.
Tension. There was hate.
I did, and I added to the list. I sent it to you guys. Ice Cream Man came through the neighborhood yesterday. He comes through every once in a while, but usually I'm always busy. I feel like the ice cream truck. I love me some ice cream truck. I'm not a huge ice cream guy even. The ice cream truck.
We got an ice cream truck every day, and I'm going to tell you, as a child of the '70s, there were things that we were told to stay away from and be scared of, and the ice cream truck. That sound is one of them.
Yeah.
Nothing good happened in ice cream trucks in the 70s.
I wish I grew up in a childhood where the ice cream truck was the biggest fear of what was going on.
Well, yeah, 1970s suburban America.
Yeah.
The second thing on my if I was to put a sports day youthful things that I was told to be scared of, and I'm not joking, public restrooms and malls.
Because you might get kidnapped, or because they're dirty and you might have to sit on a
No,
toilet?
because something bad might happen with a stranger. In like this was a very 70s thing. I don't recall it being a problem
Don't
now.
talk to strangers.
Don't talk to
Yeah.
strangers. But you know, and certain people would be in the restroom, maybe trying to do things that, let's just say, mom didn't send you into the public restroom at the mall as a kid.
We've done irrational fears. Maybe we just do biggest fears.
Just straight up.
Well, I think
fears.
biggest fears from your childhood is fun, because clearly
Childhood
now.
fears?
Oh, dude, yeah,
Childhood
biggest
fears?
childhood fears.
Childhood fears, yeah.
Yeah, childhood
I
fears.
have a
Like tornadoes, I was
very
very scared of.
specific one
Yeah.
that I feel like I should almost save it for the.
Save it.
Well, I'll give it to you here in case we never get
Don't
to the
do it,
snake
yeah.
draft. I was like 5 years old when Ghostbusters 2 came out, I think in 1989, or I was like 4 years old. It's one of the first movies I remember like my mom renting it for me as a kid.
That's aggressive for a kid.
And do you remember the villain Vigo, the guy who like came alive through the painting at the museum?
Oh, yeah.
And there was the sewer system of New York City was filled with this pink slime, but Vigo would come out of the painting, and then there was Janos, the little nerdy guy who worked at the museum, who was working with Vigo, and the ghost of Janos with his red eyes floated over to the windowsill and pulled this baby Oscar out of the New York City apartment. And so I slept by a window when I was a kid, and I had nightmares about like Vigo and Janos coming into the window to take me from my late 1980s suburban
another film,
Champlin, Minnesota.
That's great, because I feel like everyone has a movie that they saw at an age where they weren't prepared for it, and like it just left a scar.
The 1998 NFC Championship game was one of those for me.
Yeah, that's not a bad point. That's a great point.
That's me, and the not when she gets all old and like she takes the poison apple, but in my opinion, the witch in the original Snow White, pre that, like what she looks like in the first half of the film, in my opinion, is the most terrifying being in any animated film that's ever existed, to the point where I had nightmares of her in my dreams.
See?
And it like I'd wake up in sweats. Like it scared the
one with
living
like the
crap
wart
out
on
of
the
me.
nose?
Not before she gets the wart on the nose. I actually think what she looked like before she gets all old is actually more menacing and terrifying, because it looks way more realistic to me.
Yeah.
It's scary.
I'm trying to Google. I mean, the one with the wart on the nose is pretty terrifying.
Yeah, but that's like all catchy. Like it's very
Yeah.
yeah.
That's like a gimmick.
All right, I definitely think we have a snake draft brewing here. So, all right, vote for your favorite obscure Vikings teams on the post tab on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. If you're new, hit the subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. And thanks for being part of this awesome Vikings fan and podcast community. We'll see you guys over the weekend with some Purple Access and a Sunday check down.